you ever wondered what are the sort of questions that I don't like to get? Or the questions that I don't like to answer? And I'm not saying this in a negative way, because I love getting your questions, but I find that there's a particular kind of request that I always hesitate to answer. And I think if I had to summarize it, I feel it's because I like my advice to be, like that saying, teaching people how to fish. I don't like to just give people the fish, because I feel like without the knowledge, you haven't solved your problem. You're gonna need me again. And it's not that I don't want to help, but it's that I would rather teach you solutions to your problems, or rather teach you ways to approach your problems. That's kind of the way I like to tackle things. I don't want to just give you a one-and-done answer. I want to give you something you can adapt to whatever you're doing. I don't want to just give you a tool. I want to give you a way for you to look at writing. So, without more preamble, the question that I get, or the request I get every once in a while, I get people asking me not to solve their stories, but to provide a twist for a story idea, or to just provide an idea to begin with. What's a cooler way to do this kind of thing, Max? What would you do if you were writing this story? And I'm not saying this because I don't want to tell you what I think. It's mostly because I would rather you discover what is natural for your story, and what comes naturally to you, and your own way of telling stories. So today I thought, instead of going one by one through all those questions I've gotten over the years, let's tackle all of them in one go. How do I twist story ideas? How do I look at something that seems seemingly mundane and make it more interesting? How do I make sure this works? This is actually pretty straightforward. And it begins with a mental image. Hopefully you don't have... This is a weird way to start. Hopefully you don't have a spider in your room. But I am certain you have seen a spider, and you know what a spider web looks like. Picture it in your mind. A spider web. A central point, generally where the spider lies, and several lines poking outwards. But these aren't just individual points, they're also connected to one another, and that gives the structure its form and its stability. I want you to remember that mental image, okay? The way in which I approach this is simple math. If you have a story that you want to twist, or if you don't have a story idea right now and you want to create an interesting one for yourself, it goes like this. Look at the story idea you have. Look at its elements, or if you have nothing, look at the world around us, or at something that interests you. Whether it is a genre, a setting, whatever it is, look at it, look at what excites you the most about it, or what you think has potential, and remove something from that, add something to it, or replace something from it. You might be surprised by the entire genres that were created seemingly from people removing, exchanging, or adding things. A lot of steampunk settings begin with asking the question, what if electricity hadn't been invented? What if steam power remained as the main core way in which people generated power? Now, some of you may think that that's just how it happened. There's just suddenly poof, and then there's the story idea. There's a little bit more, but right now let's just focus on the first point. Look at your setting. Look at the genre or concept you want to make even more fun. Remove something from it. In the case of steampunk, removing electricity. Add something else to that setting, or exchange something. There is a very famous comic book run in which Superman, instead of having crash-landed as a baby in the United States, he crash-landed in Soviet Russia. I think it's called the Red Sun. Moving things around. Removing things, adding things. It's a very simple mental exercise. You have something, and now it is different. The thing I want to stop you for is that right now, although you may be feeling this eureka moment of like, oh yes, what if the post-apocalypse was like this? This is not where it ends. Because right now, as it stands, your story idea is merely just the beginning lines of a spider web. And we have to go deeper. And those of you who know me, especially my friends, know that this is the point in which I go full max. And what does it mean to go full max? Is to ask all the questions and the implications. What does this change mean to the setting? What does this mean to the things that are immediately related to it? If electricity no longer exists and steam power is the main way through which people generate power, what does that mean for this and for that? What are the immediate rippling effects of this particular choice? Removing, adding, trading things around, that doesn't just generate immediate effects. It has correlating, compounding effects. It's like time travel. You don't just change one thing. Everything changes. There are ripples throughout the entire world from seemingly just one little change. And if I must make a point right now, I feel like the line between the best, most interesting, and best executed settings and those that weren't is whether or not people were asking questions, if the creators actually thought about the implications of this world. I feel that everyone can relate to that feeling of getting interested in a particular book, or game, or movie, or whatever, and the instant you're enjoying it, you start asking questions, and the moment you question the world, it falls apart. Because it felt as though the writer didn't actually think about those things. Didn't actually think of making the world feel cohesive and authentic, as though it really was a world of its own. Not just the world we know plus one thing, or minus one. I know this may seem like a lot of work, but trust me, the ability to be able to look at a story idea and ask those big questions is a good skill to have. You're gonna need that for revision, because it is very likely that you will find inconsistencies in your story. There's gonna be something you didn't think about until after the fact, and you're gonna have to fix it. And that's okay. What matters, though, is being able to ask those questions. What does it mean for this to be different? Now, I want to close this off. For those of you who want to apply this, I'm gonna give you a nice little thought experiment. I'm gonna give you a quick idea, and you ask the questions. You walk through them. You imagine what this world would be like. What if winter never ended? What if winter never ended? What does that mean? How has the world changed? How are people changed? I'm gonna let you answer all of those things and more on your own. I hope this video was interesting, a little fun, and if anything, I hope I gave you another point of view. Hi there, my name is Max, also known as OCRemix, and I do these writing advice videos twice a week on YouTube. If you have a question or an idea for a topic you would like me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, I want to let you know that this show is brought to you thanks to my patrons. Patreon.com/OCRemix is the #1 place to support me and what I do, and get yourself some cool perks. By pledging as little as just $1 a month, you get to watch these videos a week before they go live on YouTube, and you get to appear on the end slate of my videos. Which reminds me, I would like to give a big formal shout out to A. Howard, Amelia, Angela, Brenda, Harriet Holman, Irina Phoenix, Joe, Lukey, Mark Maruska, Pat Eichenson, Rain Misoa, and Soulmuse. Hey guys, I hope you had fun. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about forever, and I hope it didn't come off as rude again. Ultimately, I want you to come up with the ideas that make the most sense for your story, and the ones that actually belong in your world. And I hope you're having fun in the comments right now, typing up something interesting. Some questions and some answers. But for now, I gotta get going. You keep doing your thing, keep doing what you do, keep walking your own path, and keep weaving those spider webs.